I want you to think back to your childhood. Think about your happiest moments. Who were you with? Who was taking care of you? What were they all doing? Friends and family. How did they treat you? They treated me well enough and affectionately is your probable response. But this is subjective. Our adolescent days were when we forged our model for love and affection. It's when we added meaning to the words love and affection. Whatever we felt as children set the bar for how we want to be treated as adults. For example, our mother. Caregivers took care of us to the best of their ability, shielding us from as many pains and struggles that life has to give. Sound about right? What that means is that we have a tendency to find an adult relationship with the same dynamics. But isn't that a good thing? I made it through childhood with that kind of affection? Shouldn't I keep that definition of love? No, not necessarily. How we act as children is just that, childish. We can't let ourselves plateau and stagnate our maturity levels with those of elementary or high school students. As we age, as we grow in responsibility and capability, we mustn't cling to our childlike tendencies for affection. And to continue the above example, as we continue to look for partners who care for us to the best of their ability, shielding us from as many pains and struggles that life has to give, we may continually look for people who take over our lives. There are negatives to every positive trait, and some in this example could include overbearing control, micromanagement behaviors, patronizing comments, a grandiose self-image, arrogance, and ego. Is this something you're willing to live with or can even handle? To combat this, I want you to really understand your definition of love. Your feelings and byproducts and symptoms and associations and images of love. There are 7.4 billion definitions of love on this planet, and to really make the most of this life, you really just need to understand one. And to do this, let's look at the 9 types of people that seduce us with these feelings. The 9 types of people we're attracted to. The siren, the rake, the ideal lover, the dandy, the natural, the coquette, the charmer, the charismatic, the star. Through the wisdom of Robert Greene, there are 9 types of people that spark our fancies. We may have attraction to multiple, but as you go through the following, you may find one that really sticks out and defines all your past relationships. As well, the following are also descriptors for who we are as lovers ourselves. The way we attract people can be defined through the following types. You may show signs of multiple types, but again, you'll find one that sticks out to you and think, wow, this is me. But keep in mind that the point of categorizing people isn't to label them, but to gain a deeper understanding of who we love, how to best love, and when we should reevaluate who we love. 1. The siren. The siren is of highly charged traditionally feminine energy and tends to attract those of a completely opposite, traditionally masculine energy. Whether or not you identify as male, female or neither, you'll tend to be attracted to a siren when you show characters on the extremes of traditionally male behavior. Note, I absolutely hate using the words feminine and masculine because of the connotations behind each. When we think feminine, we think of the female sex, and when we think of masculine, we think of the male sex. However, feminine and masculine are just 2 ends of a behavioral spectrum, regardless of sex or gender. Just know that from now on, do not envision a traditional female figure when I say feminine a female, and do not envision a traditional male figure when I say masculine a male. Whatever you identify as, you hold both male and female behaviors and energy. For example, when you show rigidity, high responsibility, almost a coldness, and the need for control in things, the siren is your opposite. The siren plays on society's oppression of your inner desire for personal pleasure and play, most notably through your senses. Think Cleopatra and Marilyn Monroe. These sirens were attractive because of their ability to bring out a heightened masculine feeling in those they came in contact with. Cleopatra brought exoticism and a sense of godly masculinity to both Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, and probably many others, and Marilyn Monroe brought a sense of masculine danger and pleasure to Joe DiMaggio and John F. Kennedy, and probably many others. We're attracted to, and actively try to attract, sirens when we secretly just want to let go. When society needs us to be a strong rock, an emotionless stoic with many a responsibility, the siren attracts us with their lure of opposing behavior we desperately long for. Think back to your past crush. Were you attracted to them because they made you feel extra masculine? Did they dangle a life of ease and little responsibility in your strict day-to-day affairs? The trouble with sirens is their ability to bring out laziness for short-term pleasure. To tackle and grow maturely with a siren: 1. Do not let your character suffer. 2. Keep an open understanding of what you plan to do with your life. 3. Never forget your life plan, and do not let yourself be distracted for minimal pleasure. 4. You have so much love to offer the world, do not stunt your talents. 2. The rake. The rake is characterized as the masculine siren, playing on society's roles that a female character must abide by. The rake brings out the oppressed behaviors of a traditionally feminine figure. They bring out the excited feminine in us. Again, male, female, or neutral, we're attracted to rakes when we've been to confined and comfortable, to restrained, to neutral and unenergized in our day-to-day lives. For example, when we've grown accustomed to the office banter, the politically correct and neutral acceptance of things, and our banal schedules, the rake stirs things up and makes us feel special. The rake is guided by his inflamed passion for you at the expense of others and gives you the thrill of hot romance. Like the siren, they strive to help you let go of responsibilities in favor of in-the-moment pleasure. No talk of future responsibilities. Where the siren attracts with visual sensuality, the rake attracts with linguistic sensuality. The rake is a master of language, communicative influence, and poetic verbiage. Oftentimes, we may know we aren't going anywhere mature with a rake, but that's what makes them so attractive. They are the heat of the moment and give us some texture in our dull lives. They could pull a Casanova and hide in a closet until you're alone for the pleasurable taking. Think Don Juan or JGL's Don John, Christian Grey, or Chuck Bass from Gossip Girl. They'll say and do anything to get us to fall for them, and they're able to do so because we've been so bored. Again, the majority of their attractiveness comes from their words, but it is the colorful and dangerous imagery they paint in our minds that become our daydreams. The trouble with rakes is their tendency to over-exaggerate their love and insinuate improbable fantasies of lasting partnership. To tackle and grow maturely with a rake: 1. Do not let your character suffer. 2. Let them know of your life plans and hold them accountable if they hold you back. 3. Do not let yourself be hypnotized by their current words of pleasure. Keep track of their actions. 4. You have so much love to offer the world, do not stunt your talents. 3. The ideal lover. The ideal lover comes to us from our childhood dreams, or rather our lost dreams. They are the ones that bring a hopeless fantasy to life with their ability to mirror the ideals we once had as innocent happy-go-lucky children, but have lost to gray world. They are highly astute at understanding our deepest desires and definitions of affection, and bring them to fruition. Whatever it may be, the ideal lover takes the time to fully understand you and empathize with you. They play the long game. They study you and question you while giving you a sense of affectionate attention. And then they'll play your deepest desires to their advantage, accentuating the ideals you long for. They either show your desired ideals in themselves, or they try to make those ideals appear in you. When this happens, we're hooked. We see a filling of a forgotten desire in them, with them, and through them. Often a chivalrous knight, or a motherly damsel, or something completely different, they come to the rescue out of nowhere with a romanticized, but real idea of love. Think Casanova and John F. Kennedy. Kennedy notably took the helm of a nation longing for lost ideals and future hope, the epitome of the ideal lover. Tony Robbins does this with his clients, Gary Vaynerchuk with his entrepreneurial following, and Andy Warhol with his artistic subjects. They were always painted in the most hopeful light. The trick of the ideal lover is their ability to know what hope looks like to different people. On the other hand, the trouble with ideal lovers is their grandiose self-image and lack of ability to operate within the realms of reality. Their high ideals are the culprit of this, and if left unchecked, can get too out of hand. To tackle and grow maturely with an ideal lover: 1. Allow for their hope and ideas of growth, but also keep a firm grounding on reality. 2. Keep open communication for your life plans. 3. Remember they are only human and are not godlike myths. Be cautious with their proposals and plans. 4. You have so much love to offer the world, do not stunt your talents. 4. The dandy. The dandy is the siren or the rake of the same sex. They attract the traditionally male with psychologically masculine traits, and they attract the traditionally female with psychologically feminine traits. They tear down the labels that society has put on sexuality, and they play in all spaces. We're attracted to dandies for their ambiguous and obscure personas and their freedom to break prejudiced sexual behavioral roles. Since humans are a social creature, our societies will always tend towards a general acceptance of values in order to keep everyone in place. Dandies defy this and let themselves explore multiple perspectives, especially those perspectives that are not accepted by society. Often mysterious and unable to predict, dandies spark our interest when we have repressed desires for freedom. Their lack of conformity to the masses is such an attractive characteristic that we all want a piece of. The fact that they easily flaunt it, whether through their clothing, opinions, or overall behavior, is something to be jealous of in itself. Why not try to obtain this freedom for ourselves? Flamboyant males and rigid females are the popular images that come to mind. Think Rudolph Valentino and Lou Andrea Salome. The masculine dandy and the feminine dandy, they cast spells on the opposite gender using their same behaviors. Valentino had a very feminine described etiquette and appearance, and Salome had very rigid independent habits. They attracted their lovers by showing how free they were to act like their lovers. As progressive as these types sound, their strong ability to relate to you could also lead to troubles. Power struggles may be an issue since you'd most likely be sharing similar fields of work or goals. Another is the inevitable case of unconditional acceptance. We come to expect them to understand us fully without even speaking, and can only lead to miscommunication. To tackle and grow maturely with a dandy, 1. Take inspiration from their free-spiritedness, but do not forget your responsibilities and the others you need. 2. As you share similar fields of interest, do not deliberately try to outshine each other. It's not a competition. 3. Do not let yourself be swayed by their indifference or unconcern for others. Always treat others respectfully. 4. You have so much love to offer the world. Do not stunt your talents. 5. The natural. The natural is a reflection of those golden years of comfort and innocent affection, childhood. They portray what both Kubrick and Freud would describe as uncanny, familiar yet strange. The natural brings into their persona a sense of youthfulness in an adult body, drawing those that long for the times of no responsibilities, harmlessness, and naive spontaneity. We miss those times, and the natural brings it back to us. Their childlike mannerisms and kind of weakness is something that attracts us. They draw out sympathy in us through their subconscious actions of needing protection. They probably won't say it outright or explicitly ask you for fatherliness, but it's their openness for affection and protection that draws us so close and dear. They represent a world we've all left behind, and to some, we see this as a doorway back to that playroom. The natural mainly draws upon for characteristics that we are attracted to: innocence, blissful unawareness, spontaneous talent, skill, or openness. All four are key indicators of a natural and can seem endearing to be around. Think Charlie Chaplin, Paul McCartney, Lil Yachty, Ryan Reynolds. They all emit this aura of youth that falls on us with an almost intoxicating feeling. A self-awareness and openness in their sincerity. They don't even try to act like the other adults. While everyone hits us with a seriousness and strict adulthoodness, it's the natural people that calm our senses and ease our anxieties of needing to be an overly cautious grown-up. Because if they can succeed this far as a child, why can't we? The common obstacle while dealing with naturals is their tendency to be too childish. Their innocence and naivete can easily turn into irritation as you start to feel too much like a parent. When you can't talk to them on an equal level and start to baby them, a sense of annoyance and irritability may start to arise. To tackle and grow maturely with a natural: 1. Treat life with a light heart, but keep yourselves aware of your responsibilities as growing individuals. 2. Do not take the role of mother, father, and child. Set your boundaries and expectations for one another. 3. Find adult things to do and enjoy together. Don't rely on childhood memories to bring joy. 4. You have so much love to offer the world. Do not stunt your talents. 6. The coquette. The coquette is hot and cold. They touch and go. They attract you with hopeful words or sensual maneuvers and then step back and distance themselves from you. They entice you and frustrate you at the same time. And we're attracted to this because of our human nature to want what we can't have. They tease us. This may seem like an obvious unattractive trait. But the reason they spark any sort of infatuation is because of their ability to plant a seed of desire in our minds that continues to grow without them needing to be there. Consciously or subconsciously, they've come to understand what we desire and insinuate that they are the solution to our desires, all without being present. They are the ultimate tease because it is in their psychological enchantment that takes hold of our hoping for their surrender to us and be the thought that we can be just as independent. With the former, it is so common for both men and women to fawn over people they know they can't have or know they shouldn't have. The grass is always greener on the other side. With the latter, much like the dandy, we want to be in the presence of someone just as carefree and unworried about the consequences of their actions, and the coquette does just that, showing little acknowledgement for us and giving hope that maybe we can have little worrying for consequence as well. Think Josephine de Beauharnais, John Mayer, Ginger from Casino, and every bachelor on The Bachelor. They dangle the love carrot on a stick in front of us, but never fully give it to us. They use the virtue of delayed satisfaction to their advantage. And this is exciting to us because we know how independent they are, but there's just that bit of hope that they could be dependent on us. And that satisfies both our human need for wanting what we can't have and our human need to feel significantly special. Coquettes are like a shadow we cannot grasp, but are always lingering behind us. The obvious downside is their unreliability. They may show bouts of deep affection and loyalty to us, which gives us some of the biggest excitements and joys we can feel. But on the whole, they are difficult to tame and keep within our needs.